Hey folks, Mature Simmer here. So, hopping over here to do the work for FSN for the field that's coming up for auction, field 17. So, heading on down to the southwest corner of the map. Never been down there, so glad you can tag along, and we're going to get this thing plowed and ready, because if someone buys it, it will be done in about a little over 36 hours for the auction. So I just want to make sure I'm ready and have a little bit of time to at least start on it. So I'm going to do that and see how far we get. So again, this is I think field 13. Our field is over there on the horizon past the grass divider. It's, you know, kind of all rendering at this point, but nobody owns 13. You can see it's 26 over here to the left. That's the one that'll have to get cleaned up if it comes up. I think it's 27 below that. So definitely lots of things that we can do. Let me just quickly look at the map. You know what, I think I need to head over this way. So otherwise I don't think I'm going to get over there. So field 14, field 15, if you play this map in single player, this is the new player starting farm. But obviously in FSN, there is no such thing. So that's all removed, and this road's actually added in as it's not here. So this space, and you can kind of see, I think this is where the house is normally. And I think they kind of terraformed over that and made it what it is. A little bit of lag there. But yeah, I'm not sure there's another way to get over on this side of the map without doing this, so I'm not even sure this will get me over. So this is the south end of my field. So this is the kind of the only official road that exists that would get you to field 9. And then, you know, you can kind of head up that way. But that road ends at some point, because I know there isn't a road up there. Alright, let me look, because now I'm not sure how I want to get there. Oh, I guess there is a road over there. I didn't realize. But maybe there is one along the bottom of the map. Because, yeah, at this point, this is going to be a little interesting here. I'll go this way and give us some way to see things, and I think I'll have enough clearance here. Again, these are maps that are these are fields that are FSN fields. So it's not that they're owned, but you know, it's still, as I've said many times, I still try to behave appropriately. Well, we clearly hit something there. I might have to go into the field a bit here, because otherwise I don't think I'm gonna clear that tree. But again, this is you know, crop that's harvested. Looks like maybe cotton from before. And so yeah, maybe when we head back we'll go the other way. It's hard to see the roads on the PDA, so I do apologize. It certainly wasn't my intent to cut through fields and so forth, but at this point I think we're open enough that we can get over there. But you know, this gives you an idea a little bit of what we're talking about. You know, these fields are not small. I mean, we've been driving along the edge of this thing for a while. When we get closer there, and just before we start, we'll look at what we're in for, but I'm thinking we're pretty close in size to what I have up on 9, because it's about the same amount of money. So this is the map edge. You know, they do drop off a bit. It looks like it's not level like some maps will do, but there's enough trees and so forth on the edge to make it feel okay. So, yeah, not much to say other than just drive, but I'm trying to be a good host and keep you entertained. But I've been in here, you know, on the server a lot today. This will be the 3rd episode that will be created from one day of server time. I don't know that I'm going to get all of this done on this field today, just because I don't know that I'm going to have that much time to do stuff, but that's why when I had the opportunity, I wanted to at least get going. So after we get through these trees here, we're coming up on 17. It looks like the ground kind of rises all the way to the edge of the map. Yep, definitely needs to be plowed. I might need to connect the hoses, because obviously it's not unfolding. There we go. Alright, so if we take a look, head over here. So this is 161.63 acres. And again, that's the plot. I don't know that, you know, the field is that big. So 141 acres of field. So it's actually bigger than what I had, simply because mine was like 122, but that's because I've got, you know, that forest space and so forth. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and this might not quite be what I want, because I think this is going to then create things, yeah, which it did at a 93 degree. Well, no, maybe it did do it at a 90, so that's alright. So I just want to kind of go around here, see what we've got as far as, you know, what we need to do from a headland perspective. But obviously if I'm going kind of north-south, which I think is ultimately what I'll be doing on most of the field, would be the cleanest thing to do. That didn't work. It's always fun trying to get these done, but go this way. I don't know that that's going to be enough, so let me just stop fooling myself and back up a little more. Now I should be okay. And then we'll go over this way. We might need to do a couple passes. But yeah, I think we're headed uphill, which is what the challenge is with this right now. So, for those who are unfamiliar with FSN, unfamiliar with kind of the process, so equipment is available, provided by FSN for activities that are community related or FSN related. So getting things from the community silo, if we have a contract, a customs contract, for example, the trucks are there, snow plowing to clear the roads, and then getting fields ready that are going up for auction, that are going to hopefully change over from community owned to FM owned, is another thing that is acceptable use of FSN equipment. So, because obviously there's going to be, wear and tear, fuel, so forth and so on. And so, we try to do that. And then on the equipment, that should come from the FSN funds. I'm actually going to be curious on the fuel, if it does or not. We're not able, as farm managers, to leave the server, so, or to leave our farm, otherwise we lose rights to our farm, so, but we can use the FSN equipment, and the only difference is, like, I could put out a contract to do this work, we're just not going to get paid for it. And again, other FMs, if they were to do it, if they wanted to take the contract, I don't know that, I don't think they're not, I've not seen anything that they're not allowed to, but I just feel, I just enjoy doing it, so I just do it, and I'm not really worried about being compensated for the time. It might take me 7-8 hours to get this done. I don't know. So in theory, I could make $30,000-$40,000 at the going rate, but it's just one of those that it's okay. It's not something I'm looking to do. I would just rather be able to do it because I enjoy exploring the map this way. It gives me a way to kind of work fields and kind of get a view of them, and then decide at some point, would I want to take them. Obviously whoever picks this up eventually, they're going to have the reality we all have. You just saw a pile of rocks pop up there. This is going to go way further than I wanted. Yeah, I was going to say it's acting up on the map because we're getting massive lag. I don't know why, but we're at 500 milliseconds here. Hopefully that will clear itself up. But no, what I'm trying to do is circle back around here and do another pass, because I'm going to need that to really be able to maneuver up here. So I just want to get about 2 levels deep, and here I've got a little bit more space on the side, but you can see there's a few trees that are close, so I don't want to just assume that I'm not going to line up there and not going to get stuck on it. So if I can just provide a little bit more of that, that will work. But I think this gets me, well, not quite, most of the way over. I'm just trying to figure out where the edges of the field are. I thought I was done, but I in fact am not. So, I will head back that other way and then keep going, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and pick up. I'm not quite sure why this tractor only goes 4 miles an hour backwards. Maybe it's a underpowered vehicle, but I think it's the case. No, I don't actually know. I don't think it is. I think there's a brand with a K, Corelco or something, that is this blue. But I also don't know if it's this blue just because it's painted the FSN blue, which is kind of what they have So yeah, I'll go ahead and plow this edge too, because again, we'll be going north-south, and I may need to widen this as well, but for now, I'll do one pass and we'll see how it all fleshes out. Again, we've got crazy lag. I'm dropping off my gas, because otherwise I'm going to end up in the tree. Yeah, this is unfortunate. This is certainly the worst we've had it since I've been on the server. Okay. This is clearly straight up and down, so we don't need that. I'm just trying to, again, give myself enough of a headland where I need it so that I can kind of turn around and go from there. Once again, the lag monster's coming to get me. I'm not sure if I missed a few there. I may have. I mean, but there wasn't much, so we're not always perfect on these. You know, the farmer can do a little bit of work on their own. Alright, so this obviously gets me to the edge. So I'm going to run off here. So that field, no, that one's not actually done either. So if I hop out here, yeah, it's withered sugar beets, it's just low, so yeah, if that one comes up, that's another one I'll be visiting here. But I'm going to run this through because there's definitely some close trees here. Foliage, I guess, if I'm being fancy in my words. And here again, because we'll be coming up at such a sharp angle to the edge of the field, I'm going to go ahead and run this headland here so I've got room to turn around. Alright, and that should be enough. Alright, so we're going to go and start running up and down the field. So, oh, we actually go out a little bit at the end there too, so I guess we're not fully at the edge. But we're full enough that I'm going to start this as a row, and then we'll deal with that little bit down there. So set this up. Change it to dots, which I like better. And then it looks like... I guess what I'm trying to figure out is this 180? Yeah, it is. So I guess we'll do it the way this works, and then I'm assuming that 59 rows is where I'm at from the edge of the other edge of the map, so that's how many passes I'll have to do. Okay, so at this point we can pick this up, and then we'll head here, and there's one or two passes still further west in this little piece, but this one's, you know, a pretty filled out field. So yeah, looks like we'll have at least 2 rows. So I'll get those short ones done. Or try to. There's some trees up there, but that'll work. That field obviously is a little one. It's one of the ones an FM can start out on. And again, new FMs will, you know, go through the same process, and if we know where they're headed and what field they're acquiring, you know, that would kind of be part of the the thing again is that as mayor, I'll help get their field ready for them. I didn't notice there's like that green stubble on the ground, like at the base of the stalks, so it's not just dirt. It's kind of neat. Honestly, I haven't seen that it was textured that way. Alright, so yeah, maybe it was going 4 because it was, the plow was down. So I'm not sure this is gonna, yeah, it won't quite do the full row. Well, it might actually if I just clear that up. Alright, let me just straighten that up. There, we'll let it lock itself in. Let it spin around. Oops. I thought I had it up, but obviously I don't. I must have had it down already. So that should plow. Looks like we're good on the edge here, so it was just that one little corner had a little bit extra, but we're hitting that last row there of sunflowers are getting taken out, so 61 rows, and then since it normally starts at 0, basically 62 rows is what we've got to plow here. And obviously some of these are short, some of them are not. So we will do what we can here. And this one will just continue all the way up. But we've got the field kind of defined. I mean, it was defined, I guess, but, you know, kind of marked up at the edges, and now we're kind of in the normal process of just running up and down the rows. You know, the base headlands have been done. Obviously, we've got that little island. Might not be so little when we get over there, but we've got that island in the center. But this one looks, I guess it's pretty flat, other than, you know, that one piece looked like it rose up a bit, but I'm not sure. I think we rise up more in that direction, kind of north-south, because again, as we saw the road, it looked like there was a rise, but maybe that's more on the far end of the field. I'm not sure, because it's not really giving us that same, it's not giving me that same feeling here. So I'm not sure if this hasn't flattened out a bit on this end. Alright, so I'm going to kind of do the same thing I had learned on my fields, is go a little further. That might have been a little too far, because this isn't that that wide of an implement, so I've just got to be careful. But if I pass it and then kind of come around, it seems to pivot a little better, the way a lot of these implements that we have work. So this is really kind of going to be the first longer pass that is fully on the field. But we're not going to leave the field here. So yeah, so far, it's been an interesting start on the map for all of us. I think everyone's, you know, trying to figure out what they're going to do. Sears is down here somewhere. I think that might actually be his stuff, I would imagine. Yeah. So somewhere there's a dividing line between this field and that one. So yeah, that up there is the grain drop off, a sell point. But then down in this area is what Sears has got set up. So I've mentioned on one episode somewhere, at some point, I think, I'm going to go and just pop over to their farms, just do a quick episode on that. You know, give everyone a look of what it looks like in other areas of the map and how other FMs are setting themselves up, and likely I'll return at some point, you know, probably a few years from now too, to kind of see how things have changed, because likely all of us are not going to be as fully laid out this first year as we will be several years down the road. You know, people might add animals, people might add anything, who knows. So where right now I'm sure most folks are doing the same thing I'm doing, which is, you know, buy what you need to buy and go from there. Because the one thing I haven't really looked at is the silo complexes we have available and the footprint. I do recall, and I think that's accurate, is that we can get some pretty high capacity in a pretty small footprint with some of the options we've got, which is great, because I'm not looking to have this massive complex, because obviously that means more trees that I would need to take out. But I need enough to be able to do things and hopefully not have to immediately expand, which just kind of defeats the purpose of the small footprint. So I'm going to try to do that in the next few months, because basically December will be the first month of winter where we can start cutting trees down. GPS is locked up on me. I'm going to back up because it went further than I wanted. Okay, now I can do that. Turn it back on. But yeah, I love when it does that. Kidding. I hate when it does that, but alright, and now we're having the inability of it to go into cruise control, but problem solved. Yeah, so this looks like it was a field of sunflowers, is what it said when we got out. So they're withered sunflowers. And so there is a little bit of a, you know, ghost town feel, I guess, initially as you start on a map in FSN. Because obviously we've got us on the map, but it almost appears as like nobody lived here before, because you've suddenly got a map covered in fields that are withered. You know, some are harvested, so it's not entirely true, but you know, it's just like, did the entire town get abducted by aliens and therefore the crops just died? Like, what happened to leave so much crop in the field? So one of the things I did on Misty Hills when I took over, and that wasn't a new map, but I think the previous sponsor had been AWOL for several in-game years, and so a lot of things had gotten a little overgrown. We also then lost some farm managers that had significant amounts of fields. Again, that map had a lot more fields than this map does, you know, basically around 100. And I would say probably 30 or 40 of those fields were owned by those two FMs. And, you know, they had to leave in a hurry, and even if people don't leave in a hurry, it's not like they're usually like, oh, I'll nicely plow all my fields before I leave. It's just not high on their list. Like, when you're at the point where you're deciding to step away, you're usually not going to do that work. You're just going to step away. And so I spent 2 or 3 winters, or in-game years, because sometimes it wasn't always in the winter. It was, you know, hey, I can't do anything on my farm the first day of spring, so I'll plow a couple fields up. But the goal was basically make the map look nice instead of just when you drive around you see a bunch of withered fields. So for a couple reasons, I mean, the first one being these fields are huge and it's not like I can plow them in an hour. So they take time, so I'm not going to wait to know. But the other one is, even if someone doesn't bid on this and buy it, it still helps kind of beautify the map. So this is a similar process to what I did on Seneca, which was when I initially started. It was, well, just keep track of the auctions and try to keep up. But then auctions weren't coming that frequently because with the old system, they took a little bit longer to appear. So it wasn't unheard of that sometimes you'd go weeks without an auction, where now it's usually just a matter of days. So certainly I don't know that we've gone a week since Hans has changed the auction engine that we haven't had something come up on the servers we've been on. So I think usually weekly at least, but honestly it's mostly multiple times a week land comes up on auction. I mean, again, we've been on the server, like I said, I think this is our 4th day and we've already got our second auction up. You know, the first one was 21 that Swede bought, and then this one popped up pretty much when that one ended. And at times there are a couple that are kind of running at the same time. So, you know, I think like each day it can generate something. So we have once in a while had multiple fields, you know, that weren't, like one wasn't done closed bidding and the other one was already starting. And I would expect similarly to what we had on that map. I mean, at some point FMs kind of expand out to what they want, but I'm thinking depending on proximity, and this might be one, if Sears wanted to expand, you know, he's obviously got a field in between here, but you know, it's just down the road from where he's at type of thing. So it's certainly from a location standpoint convenient for him, but he may just be choosing to stay small right now, depending on how much time he's got available to do things. But I think initially, like, everyone wanted a field. You know, these are kind of the standard size fields, you know, 100, 150 acres is probably what the majority of the fields on the map are. And so I think that's what most of the FMs were looking to do, but just with the FSN rules that they need to start with a smaller plot that doesn't exceed the $500,000 limit, and they can then put in, if they want to get rid of that, they can then put in for a change by submitting a ticket to change their home plot to the new field. But basically they would, you know, buy one on auction. But I'm guessing, you know, Sears obviously built stuff, and that gets a little more pricey if you're suddenly selling equipment, because the buildings deteriorate pretty quickly or depreciate pretty quickly. Alright, so I think you've got a pretty good feel of what we've got in store. Don't worry, I'm not going to deprive you of being able to see what happens, but I'm going to turn the rest of this work into a time lapse so that the video isn't 5 hours long, like my plowing video was on 9, and it wasn't quite that long. But part of the reason it wasn't quite that long is because I lost some of the footage because it wasn't recording, but it's also not quite as big of a field as this one is, so there's that as well. And I'm running out of things to talk about. If I have anything else that pops into my head, I will jump in and resume the conversation with you. But for now, I think it's just going to turn into getting this field plowed. So I will see you in a bit. Alright, so just about done. Well, actually I am done. There's a couple little things up north, but not being in 100% plowed is okay. I'm going to go down by the road here. So that's pretty good. He's got construction equipment blocking the road there at the edge of the map. That's clever. But yes, at this point, we're going to head back and park this up. But field 17 is now plowed and ready in case anyone buys it. And again, if they don't, as I mentioned at the start, then at least it looks a lot nicer than it did with a bunch of dead sunflowers all over it. So, you know, quite a big field. Not quite sure how long it took. It's pretty late. Again, servers kind of running behind, so it's actually past midnight by quite a bit. Much later than I'd like to be up, but I just kind of wanted to get this done. So, yeah, we'll head this way, see what the roads look like, and how we can get back to the FSN location, the custom silo, but then we also need to refuel and so forth, so I'll have to head up to the gas station, which is a little ways away. I don't think we have anything else on the map that is gas on its own. Oh, does it have a gas station here? Yeah, it does, actually. Okay. So that's good. So they've got their own fuel, and then obviously there's the repair station, so I should be able to do that. And I think once again, because it's their equipment, it will come out of the FSN funds is what should happen. And I guess if it doesn't, I'll know for the future and can kind of determine what I need to do or what I might want to do. But I certainly, you know, like going ahead and doing the work just because, as I said, it gives me a good view of the map. So here's the farm for one of the FMs. I don't know if he created that road down to here. I'm assuming he did. There's some little fields on the other side of the trees here. Can't really see those easily. Well, there we go. It looks like, I think that was one that was limed and plowed. So we're coming up on the road here that will take us up where we need to go. Should be here. I assume, you know, we've probably got, whoops. I'm trying to be too clever and look behind me and see. He doesn't have anything really blocking that, but not quite as clearly delineating the edge of the map as the construction equipment was, but so we'll head it over this way, and again, because it's a 4x map, it's going to take a little bit of time. I'll turn off the GPS at this point. But yeah, looks like this field's plowed, so now we can see, you know, Sears Farm there a little bit. Not quite entirely obvious what's there, but yeah, it looks like there's a road that goes through here, so you can get to it a couple ways. This field here, when and if it goes for sale. Another one that needs to be taken care of, but you know, this is probably one of the furthest fields from the customs location. So it was, a little bit of a drive, but now it's done. And at that point, it doesn't have to be touched again because it is now ready. And unless we have a situation where an FM buys it and then, leaves the map, or I suppose sells it, where it's not the community's or the server committee's responsibility again, which is who's in charge of kind of taking care of these things as we go. Alright, so I think this is, whatever it was, 24, but this is the field that was where the road was that we went across on. So I think up by that tree line is then where we slipped over and went over to the, I guess it'd be west of the map, and headed to field 17 to do this work. So, good news is, this wasn't work on my farm per se, but it's work I need to do, so I just figured I'd share that with those of you who want to keep track of what's happening on the server here that I'm involved with. But, all of these fields are, again, not small, so both sides here have things that need to be cleaned up. So yeah, even though field 15 said, I think it said it was plowed, but I don't know if those are just weeds or what. So it looks like I might still need to do something with 15 if that comes up. I thought that was one because I think it said it was cultivated. So maybe I'll have to check the other things that are marked as cultivated and so forth. And I've got my semi-truck I could always drive over with, or I could always just jump in an FSN truck and take a peek before I run the tractor across on the map, but alright, so this I believe is field 13. My field's up there. Shortly we'll be having the canola do its thing. But we're coming up on the custom silo shortly here, and then we'll be done. So, been a fun day, an active day for sure. So we planted, we rolled, and then we did the work from the mayor's side of getting that field ready for auction. So 3 different episodes for you today. This is the last one. And then, we'll see what tomorrow brings. I'm not sure. I should be able to fertilize, I suppose. So if I have time, I'll get that done. And we'll continue the work. But at this point, I think that's the gas station. And I assume a repair station as well, so I think I can do everything here. And then I'm sure there's a pressure washer over there, so I'll clean this up as well. So here we go. We'll refuel. It's fueling. You can see that my dollars are not going down, so it is taking it out of the FSN funds as it should. Oops. It's still fueling, okay. Just wanted to make sure. Alright. So we can repair and repair. So the tractor is good. Sorry, I almost called it a tank. I've been watching coverage of what's happening in Ukraine, and obviously, the war happening there, that's what I had on my mind, but I think we're good then. It looks like we're... Oh, am I in reverse somehow? I guess so. Alright, so let me clean this up, because I don't want to leave it messy. I can do that for sure. And then we'll get this equipment cleaned, and then I'll get it parked, and it'll be ready for next time. Hopefully we'll get a few days reprieve. While I don't mind doing this, you know, it does take time, and I don't always have a ton of time, so... And the problem will be as things come up in the winter, you know, I'm not going to be able to do anything with them there, so... Because the ground will be frozen, and I won't be able to clean it up. Alright, but that gets us done with that, and now let's circle back and park. I think I can kind of pull in and do a U-turn and get that put away and park there that way. So I thought I could, and now it's a little tighter than I would have liked, so maybe it won't work the way I hoped. So I think I'll be backing in a bit, but still not bad. So let's go ahead and slowly do that. Not go too fast here. Alright, we'll turn it off, and we're all set. So thanks for tagging along on Plowing Field 17. Hope you enjoyed the ride, and I'll see you next time.